Before becoming a prophet, Joseph had an extraordinary gift. He could interpret dreams better than anyone else. The precision with which he predicted future events was unmatched. And not just any dreams, the kind that made kings anxious and sent them searching for answers. But how did young Joseph get this gift? To find out, let's go back to his childhood. One night, Joseph had a dream. He saw stars, the sun and the moon all bowing down to him. He told this dream to his father, Prophet Jacob, who was very worried. "Oh, my son," he said, "don't tell me such things. You may end up killing me with anxiety." But Joseph persisted. "What is it you fear?" asked his father. "I heard them clearly. They were saying, 'Bow down to Joseph.' It's obvious what this means. They want me to worship them." "No, my son," his father said gently. "This is just a dream. Don't worry about it. You can come and tell me if you have another one." Joseph went back to sleep, but the same dream came again. This time, even brighter than before. Stars, the sun, and the moon were all dancing around him, while people from different lands stood by, waiting to obey his command. After hearing this, Prophet Jacob called all his sons and told them about Joseph's dreams. He didn't mention the details, though. He just told them that Joseph had seen something great in his dreams. Immediately, Joseph's brothers got angry. They gathered around him, beating and kicking him. "You want us to bow down to you?" mocked one of them, "as if we don't already bow down to our father." Another said, "Don't you remember, Joseph, how our father loved you more than he loved us? He gave you your favorite tunic and told you sweet words, while we would be working hard in the fields under the blazing sun." Their anger grew, and they plotted to kill him. However, one of them suggested selling him to a passing caravan instead. So when their father went to the fields to check on them and found them quarreling, he couldn't guess what they had done. Later, when he heard Joseph was missing, he realized they had sold him. Prophet Jacob wept for his beloved son, but he knew God would bring him back safely. Meanwhile, Joseph was loaded onto a ship heading to Egypt. On the way, the caravan stopped at a well for some rest. When everyone was asleep, Joseph crawled out of the cargo hold, hoping to escape and return home. But alas, it was too late. His brothers had thrown him into the well. Now Joseph's only hope was that someone would take pity on him and pull him out. He waited and waited, but no one came. Just when he thought he would die of thirst, a man arrived. Startled by the sight of Joseph, the man pulled him out of the well and offered him water and food. Then, learning that Joseph was a Hebrew slave, the man decided to sell him to an official in Egypt. That official was Potiphar, a man close to Pharaoh, the king. When Potiphar first saw Joseph, he noticed the young man's beautiful features and charming personality. Despite being a slave, there was an elegance about him that set him apart. Potiphar took Joseph home and gave him important tasks to do, such as looking after his house and managing his affairs. Joseph performed his duties so well that within a short time Potiphar trusted him completely. One day, Pharaoh had a disturbing dream. He was troubled by what he saw and couldn't understand its meaning. People from all over Egypt were brought to him, including wise men, scholars, and magicians, but none could interpret the dream. Feeling desperate, Pharaoh summoned Joseph. When he entered the room, Pharaoh told him about his dream. "If you can tell me what I saw last night," he said, "you will be rewarded with great wealth and power. If not, you will be thrown into the same prison where those others are." Joseph thanked Pharaoh for his offer and asked for some time to think about the dream. After the king left, Joseph went into a separate room to pray and seek guidance from God. "Ya Allah," he prayed, "help me interpret this dream correctly. Grant me the ability to speak with clarity and conviction so that I am not put to death." As Joseph prayed, he felt a surge of confidence and clarity. He understood the meaning of Pharaoh's dream and felt ready to share his interpretation with the king. Returning to the throne room, he explained to Pharaoh that he was about to have a son and that the child would be the heir to the kingdom. Joseph also revealed other secrets hidden in Pharaoh's dream, confirming its authenticity. Pharaoh was overjoyed and grateful to Joseph for unraveling the mystery of his dream, kept Joseph in his service, lauding him for his wisdom and insight. Moreover, Pharaoh bestowed upon him many valuable gifts, recognizing his exceptional abilities and contributions. Soon, Pharaoh had forgotten all about his troubles. He was so happy to know about the future heir to the kingdom that he arranged a feast inviting nobles and dignitaries from all over Egypt. During the celebration, he announced that his wife was expecting a baby boy and declared that Joseph would be his son as guardian. Everyone praised Joseph, and his reputation for wisdom and justice spread far and wide. Sometime later, Pharaoh's wife gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and Joseph was appointed as the guardian the Pharaoh had promised. Joseph lived a comfortable life in Egypt for a while, but soon his brothers arrived seeking grain. They couldn't recognize Joseph because he had grown up and become very handsome. Joseph pretended he didn't know them and asked for a bribe in exchange for giving them grain. His brothers, ashamed and guilty for what they had done to him years ago, handed over their money and quickly returned home with the grain. In the meantime, 2 of Egypt's officials became friends with Joseph and often visited him. They, too, wanted to learn the meaning of Pharaoh's dream. However, Joseph told them that only the Pharaoh had the right to know the dream's interpretation and warned them not to ask him again. The 2 officials left, but one of them couldn't help but keep thinking about his dream. At night, Joseph prayed for guidance and strength to deal with this new challenge. Once more, he received the answer he needed and confronted the official about his curiosity. The official confessed his fault and apologized for asking about the dream. Joseph forgave him and reminded him that only Pharaoh had the authority to demand such information. He also advised the official to focus on his duties and strive for excellence in everything he did. Joseph then encouraged the official to live a righteous life and to always seek the truth. He emphasized that true wisdom comes from acknowledging one's limitations and remaining humble in the face of the unknown. By following these principles, the official could not only avoid making mistakes like prying into matters he shouldn't, but also lead a fulfilling and meaningful life. Soon after this incident, one of the officials made a terrible mistake. He was supposed to collect taxes from the people, but instead he pocketed the money. When Pharaoh found out, he was furious and ordered that the official be taken to Joseph for judgment. The official fell to his knees before Joseph and begged for forgiveness. Knowing that Pharaoh would show no mercy, he asked Joseph to plead on his behalf. Joseph, however, refused. Everyone must face the consequences of their actions, he said firmly. He then revealed the official's crime to Pharaoh, explaining that he had stolen the people's money. Pharaoh was disappointed, but Joseph insisted that the official should still receive a fair trial. Pharaoh agreed, and during the trial, the official confessed his guilt and begged for forgiveness. Impressed by his honesty, Pharaoh forgave him and gave him another chance. He also praised Joseph for his wisdom and commitment to justice. Reaffirming his status as a trusted advisor and leader in Egypt, after solving Pharaoh's problems, Joseph was given even greater powers. He was appointed as a ruler over Egypt, responsible for collecting taxes and ensuring the prosperity of the kingdom. Some time passed, and Joseph's brothers returned to Egypt to buy more grain, but once again, they couldn't recognize him, not knowing that he was their brother. Joseph questioned them about why they had come to Egypt. They told him that there was a famine in Canaan and they needed food for their families. Joseph felt sympathy for them, but still pretended to be a stranger. "I won't give you anything unless you leave your youngest brother behind as a hostage," he said. His brothers didn't realize that Joseph was testing them to see if they had changed. They agreed to his terms and left Benjamin with Joseph. Meanwhile, Joseph had stored food for the journey back to Canaan. He gave his brothers enough grain to last 7 years, along with provisions for the road. However, when it was time to return, Joseph went against his own rules and let Benjamin go with the others. Joseph's plan was to call his brothers back to Egypt so he could finally reveal his identity. True to his word, he sent messengers to bring Benjamin back to Egypt, and when the brothers returned to Canaan, they were shocked to discover that Joseph was their long-lost brother, whom they had sold into slavery years ago. Overwhelmed with remorse, they fell to their knees before Joseph, apologizing for their actions. Joseph, filled with compassion, forgave them, ending years of animosity between them. Reunited at last, Joseph embraced his brothers, wiping away their tears and releasing Benjamin from his bonds. With the family reunited, Joseph led them to Pharaoh, who was also overjoyed to see the return of his trusted advisor and his family. Together, they celebrated with a grand feast, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. So this was the story of the dream interpreter, the Prophet Yusuf, or Joseph. We learn from his story that even though our bad actions may cause pain and suffering, both for ourselves and others, we can always turn things around through forgiveness, wisdom, and the belief in divine favor. It's never too late for a comeback. Remember the story of Yusuf, and stay tuned for more amazing real stories. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.